Views expressed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only and do not reflect any affiliated organizations. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to episode 18?
18 is correct.
Of the No Safe Words podcast. You know, I'm just guessing. We're just throwing numbers at a wall here.
Sometimes.
Hey, listen. I wish we had video evidence that we all were in the same place at the same time for the first time in I don't know how long.
No evidence.
That's how you know you're having a
No
good time when you
evidence
don't
of
take
that.
any pictures.
Thanks again, Scottie, for hosting yesterday. I thought it was a
Great
really,
time.
really good event. The boys and the families got together for a little BBQ at Scottie's yesterday.
Yeah.
Really great time. I enjoyed everyone's company. But
Yeah, it was a good time.
off to a nice episode, and we'll start with death. And here we go.
Okay.
Ready? So I know I sent this to you guys, and I know we didn't really discuss that we were going to talk about this. But as this has been progressing, I've been following it a little bit more and more. So Celeste Rivas Hernandez is a 13, 14-year-old girl who went missing
Sorry.
on... Oh, Scottie, I guess that means that the Yankees just won.
They're up 6-1 in the 10th.
Okay, so...
And they're still batting.
Congrats to the Yankees. And I'll plug this in. Sorry, Celeste, took a back burner. Go Birds! Because we just came back for a nice little
Dude,
victory.
that was a wild
Hey,
oh
listen.
my god, they were down a lot. What was it, 21-3 or something?
Yeah, something like it shouldn't have been.
If we were playing Madden,
What
the
a
Rams would have
script.
already won.
What a script.
Yeah. Oh, script.
Oh.
Nice.
What a script.
Oh, now
Two.
the Eagles have the script, not the Chiefs.
Got it.
Listen, all of the NFL, it's entertainment, okay? It's all
That's
scripted
true.
to some
It
extent.
is entertainment, that's for sure.
So, this young girl was reported missing, which is baffling to me. April of 2024.
Okay.
She's 13, 14 years old, went missing. There's been multiple times that she showed up on this gentleman. What was his name? His government name?
David Anthony Burke.
David Anthony Burke. His stage name or artist name is D4vd. I don't know if it's how to pronounce that. So
David.
Forgive me for being old.
David. The 4 is an
okay.
A.
It's like short
Sure.
for David.
It's lead speak. You don't know lead speak?
Okay. I don't know what we're talking about here.
You
right.
replace the letters with numbers. So like 4 is an A. At least in this case, 4 would be an A.
And that's it. That's yeah,
That's
no
it.
I. That's
Okay.
it. D4vd.
So
Because if you look at a
David.
4,
David.
if you look at a 4 and it's got the top closed, it's like part of an A.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Like a
I
3
just
is an
don't
E,
Oh my god.
7 is a
So
T.
his name is David.
Yeah, sure.
No,
David.
I mean,
You mean what?
Well, okay. It's David.
Continue.
I mean, the VD. I don't think the I is necessary. It's like everybody knows that. You know.
Vid.
Okay,
Divid.
everyone knows.
David.
Got
It's
it.
like cut out the letters you don't need, right?
All right.
Yeah. Efficiency.
Scottie fits right into this generation. No, so
It's because I'm a PC gamer.
so
I'm exposed to all these things.
she went missing. Apparently there's been a bunch of streams and she's appeared on those streams. There has been rumors that they were dating. Now, apparently from what I understand is like everyone thought she was 17, 18 years old. From the pics that I see, I don't see a girl that looks 17, 18 years old. Now, she does have a tattoo. So maybe you look at it, all right, well, she just looks young. She got a tattoo, so whatever. I don't know. But he goes on tour. There's an abandoned car, Tesla, found in Hollywood Hills. And they tow it to an impound. And
Okay.
shortly thereafter,
This is the story. Okay,
there's a foul-smelling odor coming from the car.
Ooh.
So they have the cops come investigate. They pop open the frunk and find a dismembered body. Now, some leaked information says it's not a full body, but I'm not 100% certain that's real. There's not a lot of detailed information. He's found out that this body has been found in his car, right? He's on tour still. He doesn't cancel the tour. He still is continuing the tour. I don't know if it's me and a body's found in my car. I probably say, I need a couple days off and we're going to go check this out.
Or if you do that, does that scream like the idea is continue as if nothing happened? Because if you're not involved with it, then nothing happened in your eyes.
This isn't Schrodinger's cat.
If a tree falls in the woods, did a tree fall in the woods?
Yeah.
Does it make a sound?
This is a body found in your vehicle.
Well,
so
it's an impounded vehicle, so it's no longer his.
Well,
I mean, he's gonna have a lot of legal fees, so gonna have to pay for that.
I mean, I think he's cooked at this point.
I mean,
that's a joke. It's not a joking topic, but that's a joke.
Yeah, it was a funny.
I mean, he is gonna have legal fees because they're gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Well, apparently, like,
but also like in a lot. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm gonna say like maybe you're about to get to this, but like, how did this car end up in an impound lot?
Well, because it was abandoned in Hollywood Hills, so people called and complained that it was just sitting there.
Did he call and report it stolen?
He didn't call and report it stolen at all.
Maybe he was on tour.
I mean, he was on tour.
And when was the last time he was home?
So
it could have been stolen while he was gone, right?
Yeah, who knows?
The Tesla was abandoned in Hollywood Hills, Los Angeles. After being abandoned, it was towed to a tow yard, impound lot in Hollywood. The body was discovered there after a foul odor was reported. Neighbors said that the car had been parked in the Hollywood Hills for about a month before being towed. That's all the information that we have on the car. So
yeah, I guess what about his whereabouts?
Well, I don't know where his whereabouts as of when the car was towed and found.
Yeah.
He was on tour, so he wasn't in California.
Yeah, but do we know like how long he was on tour? Before the car was found.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think the
I mean,
tour,
that's what the investigators are going to look at. I'm sure.
Right. The tour,
like, where the hell were you for the last month while his car was parked here?
Well, so there's been some conspiracy theories, and I'll go through a couple of them. Celeste's mother claimed the daughter had a boyfriend named David. Kind of weird. David is
very common name, though.
But yeah, just a funny coincidence.
Yes.
There's been talk about matching tattoos. Celeste and David reportedly had a tattoo on the right index finger that says "shh." Kind of weird.
It says what?
SHHH. Shh.
She could also just be a fangirl.
There's an unreleased song by
True.
David named Celeste has leaked or been reported leaked dating back to 2023. Some lyrics as reference to her, but no official confirmation that it is about her. And then because of the nature of the discovery, online communities are discussing possible grooming, wrongdoing, ritual, symbolic behavior. And some even say that this is a ritualistic event. Now, before we go into that, I'm going to read something. I know I was just reading something, but I'm going to read something else.
Ritualistic event.
All tabs.
Is it ritual to dismember a body?
I'm scared. It feels like you don't care. Enlighten me, my dear. Why am I still here? I don't mean to be complacent with the decisions you made, but why? In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear. And I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. In the back of my mind, I killed you, and I didn't even regret it. I can't believe it. I said it, but it's true. I hate you.
That's the lyrics from the song?
Title,
Celeste.
Romantic Homicide.
Oh.
Wasn't there... I don't know if you were getting
Is
into
this
this
a
or not.
song?
But
That's a song. Now,
wasn't there a
his
clip?
song.
it's his song, and it was dated back to 2022. I don't know when him and this girl started seeing each other, but this Celeste song that's reported out there has similar kind of vibe. Now, I'm not saying that the guy killed her. Not going to go on a ledge and say that, but it's very interesting. And a body's in your car. Like, if a
Yeah.
body's in your car, we have some conversations. Like, what's a body doing?
Oh,
in
there's
your
going to
car?
be conversations, that's for sure.
How did it
Yeah.
get there?
Definitely.
When did
gonna
it
be
get there?
conversations.
It just slipped, fell, and broke into a million pieces in your trunk.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be. There's so many things like, oh, this car has been here for a month. Okay, how long's the guy been on tour? Right. This girl's been missing since April 2024.
Yes.
Did she like run away?
But, like,
Why? That's what the thing is. Like,
Well,
she might have
She's
run
been
away.
missing. She's been missing, but has been appeared on his live streams.
Okay.
So during that time where she was missing,
When was the last time
I-
that happened?
I don't know.
I mean, so there's that, right? Could just be a jealous ex-boyfriend, right? Oh yeah, well, I'll pin it on her new boyfriend. I mean, there's a lot.
She's young,
of-
man. Really young.
There is a lot of, and look, like if she's a fangirl, okay, so like, all right, so what? They're in this relationship. We don't know anything is necessarily nefarious in this relationship. All we know is that they have matching tattoos.
Age difference.
Oh, how old is this David guy?
He's 20
David's
now.
19 or 20, and she is reported to be 14 or 15.
So she was found dead in a car just a day after turning 15. So she would have been 15 when they found her, but she was
Okay.
14 at the time. And it looks like they're claiming that they met, or I saw some pictures posted of what she looked like when they met, and I think they were saying she was like 11 or 12 years old,
Dang.
or like young, like she was young.
Yeah. Well, that's creepy. But like, maybe they weren't actually dating.
Maybe.
We don't even know. We don't know. Nobody knows, right? We don't know this.
The
So
thing I was
the
gonna say
last-
before.
What's that?
Good.
The thing I was gonna say before wasn't there a music video of his where he's stuffing a body into a trunk?
Either a trunk or a casket.
A music video?
Yeah, he has a music video. I didn't see.
Yeah, maybe this guy's satanic.
I didn't see the video.
I mean, some people's music is just like that, though, right? Like,
Sure. Yeah. 100%. I'm not being sarcastic here.
You know,
I'm
yeah.
agreeing with you.
yeah, I mean,
that is the truth. But
maybe he wants
if
to
your
live.
music is like that
Maybe he wants to
and
live his-
you
Yeah,
have
it
been
says-
seen dating this girl since she was, let's just call it 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and she's been missing, and she appears chopped up in your trunk, and your music is like that. I mean, I'm not
So-
saying it.
It's the song for it is titled "One More Dance," and the video premiered on February 7th, 2025.
What?
And obviously, no one thought anything of it before, but now that people, the internet's doing its internet thing, and people started reviewing all of his stuff, it's getting a lot of attention. Clearly,
You listened to that song a lot, didn't you? No, I'm just kidding.
And
it's on
I
my
looked up
sleep playlist.
when she was on the stream, and they said apparently in January or February of 2024, she was popping up on his streams. Some sources use terms like allegedly or reportedly, meaning law enforcement hasn't verified all of the live stream footage details publicly. It's not confirmed whether Celeste was fully aware of the stream's audience or the ramifications of her statements. But if she's on it January, February, and then all of a sudden goes missing in April, one would say that could be grooming, and she was living with him.
She was?
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know
Oh,
for certain.
Oh,
Like, I don't know where a 14-year-old girl's staying if she's not staying at home, and she's been reported missing for over a year. You know what I'm saying? So, listen.
Where is she from?
The United States?
No.
Celeste Rivas Hernandez was a girl who went missing from Lake Elsinore,
Somewhere in
Riverside
California.
County, California.
Okay.
She was later identified as the remains found in the Tesla. At the time she went missing, she was 13 years old. So I hope justice comes for her. I'm not saying this artist did it. There's just a lot of evidence that don't look good for him.
Yeah.
So we'll keep an eye on it. And I figured I'd just touch back on something I brought on earlier. That Darius Kuhn double homicide in Miami is still unsolved.
Yeah.
They haven't
I've been
figured
looking
anything
at it.
out about it.
Zero.
Well, it's like
Zilch.
40% of murders don't get solved, so
Crazy, though.
could be.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like to me this was an act of jealousy or something. It looks too clean to be something that someone did for the first time.
Yeah.
So, interesting. On
the subject,
Okay.
real quick side note. Did you guys hear about the Garth Brooks thing?
Dude, bro.
It is compelling. It is compelling.
Bro,
Garth
you
Brooks
sent
might
that?
be a serial killer. like
Come
not even exaggerating.
on.
No, for real.
No.
Yeah, you said
Look in-
that.
Did he get arrested?
So I'm not
Not
gonna.
yet.
I'm not gonna.
Not
I'm
yet.
not yet. I'm not gonna sit there and this conspiracy.
What's the poly market say?
Oh, let me look.
This conspiracy theory is actually pretty funny, but I believe it all started with Tom Segura, if I'm not mistaken. Tom Segura said that like he's a serial killer because of his smile, right?
Okay.
And then the internet started doing internet things and then came out with this whole slew of information. I think Muhammad's going to divulge some key bullet points.
Yeah, so key bullet points are the fact that they went back and they tracked his tour dates and locations that he bought a big property. I don't know exactly where it was, but he bought a big
the tour dates, like back before you go any further, the tour dates, I think this was before he became really famous.
Sure.
Like,
Tour
So
dates.
he's like, I'm gonna get famous.
One way or
I'm either
another.
gonna be a musician or a serial killer.
one way or another, they're going to know
One
me.
way or another, I'm gonna make it big.
Sounds
So
very
basically, they're saying like
Cortez-ish.
they mapped out like the different places where, for one, he had a property, and then in that area near his property, there were, a bunch of unsolved homicides that popped up, and then on his
Not
tour,
homicides, missing people.
missing people.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah,
missing
yeah.
people because they can't confirm, whatever the case is. People just will go missing, but
Yeah.
he's got a ton of land,
Yeah.
so that would be
Raw
the place
land.
to do it.
It's raw. land.
raw
Raw
unfiltered
land, like undeveloped land. And then the other thing is they matched up his tour dates to missing people reports, and along all of his tour dates, there are missing people reports
Coming from the time that he was.
that coincide with his tour date like at the locations he was at.
Yep. So
And this has been for
I'm
the last
just-
11 months. First thing I see is from like 11 months ago. And yes, Tom Segura did mention something of it.
yeah.
Or
I'm just saying.
this is a fun conspiracy theory.
I
We can
mean,
just have
a
fun
lot
with
of
it.
a lot of shows happen in highly populated areas. In highly populated areas, people go missing.
yeah, but this is before he was famous though.
I mean, like, how many people did, like, you guys have heard about the like drastic increase of people going missing in Baltimore, right?
What?
Well, that's Baltimore.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's like a huge increase in Baltimore. But I mean,
Well,
it's
I'm
like
confused.
it's like thousands of people a year.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Since when?
like, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's been
So
it's
for the
over,
last
like,
10
it's like
years,
1,000 people
there's
go
just
missing,
1,000 people a year just go missing.
something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've got to look it up. Maybe Muhammad could be my But like, so how many people a year go missing, right? Like, how many missing person reports are there per year in the country?
I mean, there's probably a lot, but there's a lot.
Over 10,000 missing persons reports annually in Maryland.
10,000 per year in Maryland. In the whole, in like one of the smallest states in our freaking country. Of 10,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, but we're talking about Garth Brooks is in X place, and that he's there,
I understand that.
There's some missing people.
600,000.
He lures them into the bus, and they don't come out.
600,000 missing person reports are filed annually. Now, look, I'll even admit that 75% of that, we'll just call it, you know, people ran away from home and then they came back the next day or a couple days later or whatever, right? Like, or like, for instance, a missing person report was filed for me when I was a kid. I went out, hung out with some friends, decided to stay at a friend's place. My phone was dead, so I couldn't call my dad. And he filed a missing person report for me the next day. Like the next morning. Was like, where the hell did he go? Why is he not home? So, like, 75% of those are probably like legit, like not legit, right? But that still leaves 150,000 people per year.
So my question is, are you going to a Garth Brooks concert?
I mean, no.
Because you're scared. Because you're scared.
I mean,
because he might abduct you.
I don't know.
You might be in his like.
I could just listen to his music in the car. It'd be good enough for me.
I mean,
I'm not shucking out the dollars to go see Garth Brooks at it live.
I just think
that's why.
Deep down, this is hitting home of fear.
I'm not worried about him.
Those cowboy boots and that smile.
I'm not worried about him.
When you I think you sent this to the chat. I saw it and I watched it and then I did a little research on it and it was fun. It's a fun one.
It's a fun one. It's meant to be a fun one. It's just like one of those, coinky dink, like this could be interesting to talk about kind of thing. Like, did he do it? Who knows? Maybe. I mean,
not so
I don't
fun
put
for
anything
Garth
past.
if he's innocent or guilty.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, you know, both ways.
Well, let's all put on our tinfoil hats. Who's going to have the tinfoil hat still on their head and who's not?
Oh.
So, we landed on the moon, or did we?
I think we landed on the moon.
Depends who you ask.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay, so
there's plenty of evidence.
We landed on the moon.
All right, let's all take our stance.
All right,
and then we can discuss. So, are you? Because for the last couple of days, you've been like, it's a seesaw with you. I don't know where you are on the seesaw. Are you?
So like, I generally believe, not necessarily with the moon landing, but in general, I have a pretty open mind to things. And
what kind of things?
To like conspiracies.
Okay.
Right.
Just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, not to being like an Eagles fan or like, I'm not open to that at all. Like that's not.
Or
happening.
a Diddy party.
Diddy party. No.
Depends who's there.
Yeah. Well,
before or after, like the before party or after party. What party?
I mean, it might be fun watching Meg the Stallion try and frame somebody else for shooting her.
Oh shit. All right.
But
good
like,
shooting, Tex.
But like, so in general, I have an open mind to conspiracies and to like information that is not mainstream, right? I definitely have that open. So when somebody says, "Oh, this is the reason why we didn't land on the moon," I'm like, "Okay, that's interesting. I can see that being, foolproof evidence why we didn't land on the moon." But then if you go and look at what they're pointing at, it's like that's not real. Your argument is flawed. At the moment, I believe that we landed on the moon. Maybe you can convince me.
Okay. I believe that we landed on the moon, but the evidence that we landed on the moon is fake.
But then
I don't
how
believe
can
that.
you believe? Then how can you believe that we landed on the moon if there's no actual proof or evidence that shows that
No.
we landed on the moon?
I believe that we landed on the moon. I just believe that the video or pictures of how we landed on the moon are wrong. I don't believe
Yep.
that technologically during that time, I don't believe. Like let's just say that the footage that they had was not good footage, so they didn't want to use it. So for a backup plan, they had these recordings made. I don't know, but for me, I'll go into why in a second. But let's all get to where
Take our stance.
take our stance. We landed on the moon. Evidence of landing on the moon, such as video evidence and pictures, I think were doctored. We'll say that.
Doctored or
made up.
just made like completely not real.
Either one.
Okay.
Have your pick. I don't necessarily know. I don't really care too much.
You gotta
from
take a
that.
stance, bro. You gotta
I
take a
am
stance.
taking
You
a
gotta
stance.
stand there.
I'm taking a stance.
All right.
His stance is he believes we went there, even though there's no proof to show that we did. So he's just got blind faith, like he believes in God.
Sure.
I believe in God.
Sure.
No. I'm just saying it's like blind faith, right? You don't have anything that actually can prove that
There's
it
evidence.
exists.
I mean,
Yes.
I have evidence. I didn't want to get into the evidence. I'm just saying that my stance is that we landed on the moon, but
Apparently,
the
Muhammad.
pictures or videos didn't.
Apparently,
So
Muhammad doesn't believe.
Muhammad has
We
the
landed on
tinfoil
the
hat
moon.
on.
I have the tinfoil hat. That's not really a tinfoil hat.
Okay.
I mean, listen, there's plenty of things that point to it not happening. For one, I'm more of a see it to believe it kind of person. But honestly, at this point, you can't believe anything you see now anyway. But, before all the AI doctored videos and everything, be more interested to believe or more inclined to believe things actually happening the
this
way
is
that
way
they claim they
before.
happened. So there's this guy, I don't know if you've heard of him, Bill Casing. He wrote a book, We Never Went to the Moon. He wrote it in 1974.
Okay.
The reason why this guy actually is significant or makes a difference is the fact that he used to work at Rocketdyne, which was, a rocket company that built the F1 engines used for the Saturn V rocket. Obviously, I mean, he wasn't an engineer or a scientist, but he worked on documentation and publicity, which
Real
people
smart guy.
Well, I mean, a technical writer for them, but either way, worked there, whatever, claims that at the time, you would know if you're a technical writer, like you're documenting all of this stuff there. So
Yeah.
based on the documentation, whatever, he's saying that he claims they did not have the technical, they didn't have the technology at the time to make it safely with humans to Mars or to the moon. Sorry.
The moon.
We're still not at Mars yet. Because we got to get to the moon first. No, we got to have another trip to the moon and actually prove it. But there's some of the ideas is the fact that the timing of it is around, the space race with Russia. So,
course.
you got to prove we got to prove dominance or, say that we made it there first, so we did it or whatever. Like we talked about before.
Well, and JFK was like, "We will get to the moon this decade."
Yeah.
Right,
So
like-
when you have
kind of
when you
paint
have
himself in the corner there, right? Where
it's like it's not we're trying to, but we will. At that point, like he's gonna be a liar then otherwise, and people's jobs are on the line, lives are on the line, maybe who knows, livelihoods on the line, whatever it is. So that's just another incentive, we'll say, motive to why they would say that we made it there, even though we didn't make it there. Another aspect on why people think that it's bullshit is the fact that the Vietnam War and Watergate scandal basically got rid of people's trust in the government. So if they're making up all these other things or they're basically manipulating stuff to have people believe something they want them to believe a certain way, why would we now trust something they're saying from another area of the government if, they're just making shit up for other situations, right? So
Right.
that ties into the space race, proving that, proving that or saying that we made it there first to fake a victory, right? Then some of the other key points that we previously talked about was like the flag waving when there's no atmosphere on the moon.
Okay.
The fact that there's
that one's not real.
So hold on. Before we go into all of the points, can we discuss these points?
What?
So
You mean each point? Let me pick apart every point.
Well, like, all right, or like we can, or we could have a discussion. We're just brushing by like each of these topics.
Yeah,
there's a lot of topics. So like,
yeah, so let's pick apart each point. We'll discuss each point.
Okay.
Right?
I don't think it's yeah, that's why I think
yeah.
Personally.
So I mean, I don't know, like all of that is like before the flag waving, right? That's all just speculative. Like, okay, yeah, we faked about these other things, so we faked about, the moon landing. Okay, great. I don't have a stance on whether there was a backup plan for if we didn't make it, right? To say, yeah, we made it, but we didn't make it. You know what I mean? I have no stance on that. Like, I fully believe that JFK was going to tell the people that we landed on the moon, whether we landed on the moon or not. All right. Because
I mean, I trust JFK though.
What's that?
I trust him, so
you trust him.
Yeah.
Or trusted him?
Trusted him. He's not alive anymore. His head got blown off.
Well, yeah. I mean,
back and to the left.
I mean, before you were alive, he died. So, at what point in your life did you trust him? I would have trusted him if I was.
Yeah,
alive.
I trusted what he purportedly stood for, or that he was a honest person.
Yeah.
You mean what he was trying to do with
based on what I know of him?
Yeah, but so I mean, like,
caveats.
I have no stance on that, on whether or not maybe they filmed stuff on Earth as a backup plan, but I don't think the stuff that we're seeing is fake.
Well,
do you think that's actually footage from the moon?
I think there's actually footage from the moon.
You think what we see or what we have seen is actual footage from the moon?
For the most part.
Okay.
What do you mean the most part?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if stuff leaked or something,
So
while
the waving flag, like, what is your counter to the waving flag?
Well, if you've seen the picture, there is clearly a rod going across the top of the flag. It's very clear. Like, it is a straight line.
So you're
saying, it's actually bunched up.
So you're saying there's a pole and there's a rod coming from the top of the pole, and they strung the flag out. It
could have been already.
They gave it a little, and maybe they didn't pull it all the way to.
Well, they had to
have that waving look.
I think what happened is, and what the story is that comes from NASA, is that well, actually, I don't know what the manner is, but I believe the flag was already on the pole.
Okay.
And they put the flag up, and then they had to twist the flag pole into the ground so that it would stand up. And while they're twisting it, right, the flag is waving because it's moving. And because there's much lower gravity and there's no air to like straighten the flag out, it was still waving when they went to go take the picture. Now, it being together is the part that is not included in NASA's story. NASA's story includes you have to screw the pole into the ground, and because we don't have gravity like we have on Earth, it takes longer for the flag to settle into place, and that's why it looks like it's waving.
Okay. Do you have a counter to that?
Are you looking at the picture? Are you looking at the picture?
I'm looking at it now. I see that little rod on the top and whatever.
It looks pretty clear.
Yeah, there is a rod. It looks like there is a rod on top of it, hanging it out to the side. Like,
Oh,
almost like
is this one step closer to the removal of the tinfoil hat?
No,
that's not as big evidence.
That doesn't. Yeah, I mean, either way, that doesn't make a difference because if anything, that ties into. So you're saying they have that post there, or they have that rod there to hold it in place.
A flag should be still there.
It shouldn't need that because if it's in space, it would just be however it was.
Yeah, there's gravity on the moon.
Yeah, it's that's the whole thing. It's lower. It's much lower than on Earth. So
Yeah.
I like it. I don't think it would just like fall down.
Yeah. Just like the
Yeah.
astronauts fall down when they jump.
Probably. Yeah. Thinking about that. That does make sense.
Like,
All right.
just like
so,
while they're running around. I mean,
so-
Vacuum
the
of space.
photographic evidence, I think most of it is legit.
Okay. So
What about the lighting and the shadows
So
of those photos?
I saw a picture of like the shadow of an astronaut and an antenna, right?
Yeah.
And it looks intersecting, right? But if you look at the landscape, you'll see that there is like where the astronaut is kind of flat, and then there's like a hill up on the side. And I don't know where that antenna is coming from. I don't know if that antenna just has an angle on its own, right? Generally, antenna's standing straight up, but like, what if the structure that antenna is on an uneven surface? Well, then you're just looking at, yeah, the shadow's still going straight, but it looks like it's converging with the astronaut just because, you know, that's the way the antenna is. That's the way it's actually standing. The other stuff, I don't know. I mean, there was this whole one, like a show I saw years ago, decades ago, of like different rocks, and look, there's a shadow here, and there's a shadow here, and there's a shadow here. But also you have to remember they use a wide angled lens, which distorts the image, right?
Yeah,
So
it like fish
yeah.
eyes it almost.
yeah, so when you have that, when you're using that kind of lens, like images get distorted. Not like, oh, just that shadow is getting distorted, but like the whole landscape will get distorted. Like the whole picture is distorted. So, I mean, there's stuff like that. Is there a particular picture
Sorry.
that you would?
It's so like that one. I mean, the main picture with the flag there, and then the astronaut,
I
and
wish I could
the
see.
flag there, the astronaut, and back at like part of the spaceship you see on the side of the picture. It's like just the light source.
Can we pause for a
From-
second?
Huh?
Sorry. Lily's calling me back to back.
Don't pause the recording though. Just leave it going.
Hey. Hello?
Send me this picture.
Hello? Yeah. You called me. What's up?
You want me to text it to you or Discord?
50?
Text
Okay.
it to me, or
Is
Put
there
it
a
on
shoe
Discord.
store there? All right. Well, I'm going to send you 50 right now. I want receipts for everything, all right? All right, bye. Sorry. Oh, fuck.
I don't see what's wrong in this picture. I don't see shadow problems in this picture.
Hold on. It's not. It's just the shadow, the lighting.
The
In it?
lighting,
Yeah.
because it's bright.
Yep.
I don't understand. I mean, the shadows look like they're all going kind of the same direction, even in the flag, right? That shadow behind the ripple, the shadow of the astronaut, right? Seems
Yeah,
to be
but
going in the same
like
direction.
the way the flag is standing there. For one, there is no shadow on the ground. Like the flag, the shadow from the flag looks to be in a different direction than the actual where the flag is, based on the lighting from the flag.
I don't
so,
even
like-
see where the shadow of the flag is.
It looks like it's on the ground in front of it, on the ground, and otherwise, okay, perfect example. Where is the shadow for the flag?
I mean, it's a thin.
Doesn't matter.
definitely- It's a thin rod, but like, look at. I mean, just looking at the flag is tall. Where is the shadow for the flag?
That's what I'm saying. If you look at his shadow, you're seeing it very clear as day on his feet behind him.
Yeah.
And then I don't see anything for the flag at all. If the flag does have any kind of wiggle in or whatever, you should see something, unless the light source is coming from above it. Also, the lighting on the flag is not consistent because, sure, there's shadow and there's shadow, but the face of the flag is lit up. But if you look at the angle of the shadow from the actual Apollo or whatever the spacecraft is there, it's going in that direction. So, like, the lighting wouldn't be so strong on the face of the flag from where the light is coming from.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think the lighting on the flag is consistent with the astronaut and where the astronaut's shadow starts and ends. But, like, did you see this picture?
I'm looking at it now.
I sent it in the.
I mean,
well, I
one
sent the
thing is
link.
weird. Yeah, the flag. I don't see a shadow. Maybe the pole. Maybe there's a shadow for the pole that we're just not capturing. But also, it looks like they're at like a really high angle of the sun, right? Like the sun is
Yeah, the
kind of
sun's
like 90 degrees kind of from them. And, you know, so the shadow for the flag might be like far off to the right that you just can't see. Because if you look at the legs, like they look like it keeps going. Those are just legs, right? It looks like it just keeps going to the right where like you don't even see the bottom of the legs yet. Or, you know,
his body.
you know, where the
Crotches.
where the crotch is of the astronaut.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I'm the astronaut standing, I think it's not 90, but like
yeah. I think it's less than 45. But
you're also
can
not
tell-
factoring.
Look at the astronaut's shoulder. That's all you need to
Yeah.
see. Look at his shoulder. You can see the angle of the. You can see the angle of the shadow.
right. Yeah, so it's like 45 degrees.
I also
Maybe
don't.
less.
I also think that we're not factoring in that there is nothing on the moon, and it's closer to the sun, and what that looks like.
Well, sometimes it's closer to the sun.
I think.
Yeah, it
in that
depends
picture
on
it's
the
closer to
rotation.
sun.
Oh, I mean, maybe. But not by much. I mean, we're talking about fractions.
Yeah, but then there's also nothing preventing anything from, like, beaming down. It is no atmosphere, no clouds,
Yeah,
no
so
nothing. It's
what's the
so
point?
the bigger impact is, there's nothing I think that we back then that would have been able to duplicate the level of lighting that's occurring here, and that's why those shadows look different, and that's why he looks like he's 4,000 feet tall. Like you can't, like you said, you can't even see his crotch. So, like, that's showing the amount of lighting that's coming from that direction, causing the shadow to be bigger than it is.
Well, I think it's more so angle, right? Because, like, even if it's midday, right, for us on Earth, right? If it's midday, you're not going to you're going to have a shadow underneath you because the sun is, it's not going to be underneath you, actually, because we're north of the Tropic of Capricorn. So it'll be, our shadow will be due north. And that's why sundials work, right? But if it's late in the day, right, your shadow is going to be much larger and elongated, right? Because the sun is lower on the horizon. I don't know where they landed on the moon. I don't know what, longitude, latitude they landed on the moon. So I don't know, like, what angle the sun is supposed to be at here, but it looks like the sun is at, a very acute angle, which elongates the shadow. I mean, there's the whole thing of light intensity, right? So the cameras that they used on the moon, because it's so bright on the moon, they had to like close the aperture a lot so that way they can minimize the exposure. And also they had to, their exposure time is really short. So, another argument is, well, why can't you see all the planets in the background of all these photos? Well, you can't see them because
Stars.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant. Stars. Or galaxies, right? Because galaxies are almost as bright as stars. It's because the aperture is really closed and the exposure time is really short. So they weren't able to capture, those other light sources when everything is dimmed down?
Something.
What else?
I don't know if we're going into like points here, but like I'm gonna say my biggest point that I would say, there's two big points that make me believe that we landed on the moon. First point is the three of us can have a secret. We can share a secret. The chance of that secret to get out between the three of us is highly likely. One of us is going to say the secret. More often than not.
You think so?
People, I'm just using odds. I'm not saying definitively or not. I'm just saying just for the three of us. There were 400,000 people that worked on this moon landing.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to have 400,000 people all keep a secret. I don't think it's easy. I don't know. Like there has to be a lot of strategy involved to isolate all of those individuals in certain areas, to only expose them to certain areas by not allowing them to see everything that's going on, so that way you can get your lie off. So I'm not saying 400,000 people had to be in on the hoax.
400,000 or 4,000?
There was 400,000 people that worked on this whole mission to the moon.
Okay.
So for me, it's hard to fathom that.
Think about government, though.
What?
You got to think about it from the lens of government. It's
I know,
not just
but
normal people.
But not all government people worked on the mission to the moon. But
yeah,
even
but they're
if,
still bound by NDAs and whatnot.
Yeah, sort of. Like, if it was a lie, that lie would have found a way to get out.
I mean, do you believe we have captured UFOs?
I was just going to say Area 51 if you look at that, or
Yeah.
black, or like top secret, dark, like Black Ops stuff. I mean,
I believe we've captured.
Yeah,
like,
but
I believe we have UFO.
We have alien
like,
technology.
crafts
for sure.
in our possession.
But I don't believe what I don't believe is I don't believe that there are. So there could be 400,000 people that have known or have seen. I don't think there's 400,000 people that know definitively that we have UFO. I don't think
You don't think so?
I mean, bro,
Not 400,000.
if we've had those craft since 1950, whatever the frick, right, from the Roswell crash, if we have that craft from 1950 something, I mean, in the military, you get moved every 3 years, right? So let's just assume that
but I'm assuming that if you're on this, you're not moving.
Maybe.
I think
I don't know.
I think that only
Could be.
highly classified people are having access to said alien recoveries.
Do
And
you believe in Bob Lazar?
Sure.
Well, Bob Lazar's story was that they would bring in random scientists, expose them for a short amount of time to try and reverse engineer the crafts, and then let them go so that they wouldn't know too much to be able to expose the entire project. So if you believe that, I mean, like,
but
there were multiple systems that they were working on, propulsion systems,
anti-gravity.
Yeah, and like they broke them down into pieces too. So just think, I mean, let's just say 20 engineers a year.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is, in that given scenario that you're talking about, these individuals, are they told that this is an alien craft that you're trying to reconstruct, or they're saying work on this?
I mean, I think it's probably highly compartmentalized, but if you're working on an anti-gravity machine,
yeah, but you're working on an anti-gravity machine. You're being told that this is an anti-gravity machine that you're working on, not that it's recovered from an alien craft.
I think it's yeah, but also, well, first of all, if they're working at S4, It's like dead giveaway.
They know what they're working
Yeah,
on.
like
Well, yes and no.
You know what
but
I mean? Like,
no, they just
dead
know it's a
giveaway.
highly classified
yeah,
area. But
yes, yeah, but like
It's a specialized
also like Bob Lazar, they were
sector.
like he was like, why did they bring me in to look at this? Right? Like I think people who are at that level of intelligence can identify that there are people that are, or at least and a level of maturity can identify, hey, like I'm not the smartest person to be working on this.
yeah,
But
I
I'm
understand
specialized in XYZ, and what would they need somebody who specializes in XYZ for?
Right.
No, and I get that, but what I'm saying is, can they assume that they're working on an alien craft? Yes, but like they don't necessarily know for certain.
That's true.
They're being told, hey, we want you to start looking and trying to reverse engineer some of the things that somebody was working on and they died.
Yeah.
Like it could just be as simple as that, and they didn't
Could
save
be.
any notes, and we need to be the first one to get to this. I'm not saying
Could be.
it's for certain, right? But like that's a small number as opposed to that's a small number over the history of time.
Yeah.
Where it's 400,000 people on one specific project at one specific time, and they're all going to keep a secret. They're not going to tell their wives,
I don't
their
think
kids.
you don't need that
their-
many people. You don't need
That's how many people.
Yeah, but you don't need that many people to know the secret.
But all right, so you're right. That's what I was saying. There's 400,000 people that are working on said project. You have to be extremely strategic to isolate those people into certain categories, right?
I mean,
You have to keep
not
them
even.
away from-
Not even though,
No.
because you can actually do the work, right? Like you can do the work and you can have collaboration across. Like in Mission Control, it could have been like
50
they would have
people?
no idea that they were actually in space on the moon at all. They could have faked all of that, right? It could have been like 20 people that knew
The live
that this
feed-
wasn't going to happen.
Exactly.
The most important
Those-
people were though the 3 astronauts that
The
actually
live feed
were up there.
could have just been at a studio somewhere else. And they just said, oh, we're patching in the live feed now. The people that are there, you only need to have strategically like 5 or 10 people actually know that this is not real. All the other people are none the wiser because they're still doing all the work that they thought they were
Yep.
doing. Everything still looks the way it does. Everything's still happening the way it's supposed to happen. They're just seeing something from somewhere else.
Yeah. You don't need all 400,000 people to know.
Obviously, I know this is very like, I'm not saying one way or the other. It's just a fun thing to talk about, fun thing to question, fun thing to whatever.
I'm not upset. Like, so there's the 400,000 people, and I understand that all 400,000 people wouldn't be on the hoax. They would have to isolate the majority of them, but I think it would still be kind of hard in order to do that. Maybe not. Maybe it's very easy to lie.
Yeah,
to a
I
bunch
think
of
it's
people.
just, I think you're looking at a bigger number than what really needs to be involved on it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing to me is that we were in a race with Russia.
Right.
Yeah.
And Russia was tracking this extremely closely. And they're the ones that also congratulated all of the people involved in the space travel and the 3 astronauts that went to the moon. So for me, like, if this is a race to the moon and I'm trying to get to the moon, I'm not congratulating someone if I don't believe they went to the moon.
Right.
So if they're tracking and they're seeing everything that is going on, then to me, that is there. I mean, I was also going to mention the reflectors that are put on the moon, right? But like that could have been a rover that did that, not a human being. But those 2 are the biggest things for me that had me lean towards that this was actually completed.
What are your biggest things against?
There's a lot of conspiracy talk around mysterious deaths. There was somebody
Yeah.
that was supposed to be going to the moon that said that all of a sudden they died mysteriously in a weird flash fire, which the lock was on the outside, not on the inside, and that person got locked in and completely lit up and burned
Barbecued.
to death.
I heard something about this, like they switched the door so that it opened on the inside, not the outside, or some crap like that. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they would have to redesign that craft to like switch the door, but like changing the lock from the inside to the outside, that seems interesting, especially since like they'll have to get out of the capsule.
Right, but it was only for this particular part, and it burned to crisp, and then they made a change to it all of a sudden. So the report, NASA's report, says that there was a faulty valve on the oxygen line. Yeah,
because like you have to put oxygen in with other air, right? Like you can't just feed oxygen straight in. Oxygen is very flammable. Like if you get over 21.5 is the like atmosphere, right? And
Pressure.
21.5% is the percent oxygen in like Earth's atmosphere. And like you can function, like I think you pass out at 10, so you can function on less. And they had a problem, even like Apollo 13. They had a problem with their scrubbers, and there was like too much CO2, and it was like pushing out the oxygen and displacing the oxygen. And they had to like come up with some crazy plan to with like socks and whatever to create a scrubber out of like the materials they had on hand. Well, that's like the Tom Hanks movie, Apollo 13.
MacGyver.
So, but like there was a couple things. There were a couple particular failures on that burning, and this is the guy that like hung a lemon on the freaking the spaceship before they launched, because he was like, "There's no way this thing is getting to." He was the number one guy. They were like, "This is the guy. He's going to go to the moon. Like we've already given him the mission. He's going to be the first person to step foot on the moon." And he got like so frustrated that he hung a lemon on the spaceship, saying, "There's no freaking way we're going to make it to the moon. Like this ship it's a lemon." He like made a statement. And then the very next day, I think it was like the day or the day after that, he's
dead.
Yeah.
In a training. But so there were two things. So they used like cloth as an insulation for the electronics, and which very flammable. I think it was like some specific type of cloth, but this is just like what they used on spaceships at the time, right? Like there were spaceships that they sent to space that had that same material. So it wasn't like this material was planted on the ship, but it's highly flammable, right? And then the other thing is the oxygen valve got stuck, or the other air valve got stuck open, or the other air supply valve got stuck closed, one or the other, and made it very oxygen rich. Boom, there's a little spark. I mean, it's electronics, right? This isn't like static electronics like we have now, and went up in flames, right? And then I don't understand like why they couldn't just open it. I don't understand that part. Maybe that's the whole lock thing. But like, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then like supposedly the CIA was there the day before, and they like locked down the site and had to do whatever. They did some things, and that they're saying the CIA did it. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to get rid of the guy for other reasons. Because he hung a lemon on the spaceship. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think it's to cover up. Well, we're not actually going to the moon.
I don't think if I'm gonna have my conspiracies, if I'm gonna have my hat on,
yeah,
right, like he was going to be a problem. He wasn't going to go along with the conspiracy, right? So like we had to make him disappear and not be here and fell down the stairs. Whoops.
That further leads to the thing I brought up last week or the week before about the press conference with Buzz Aldrin behind Trump. And I'm assuming you didn't get a chance to see it?
No.
Anyway, he just looks very very like distraught when he's standing behind listening to Trump talk about it. He's just making all these crazy faces, and it looks like he's dealing with something inside where he's like fighting back, like thinking about it. He's like, this is a bunch of bullshit.
He's going to slip up.
Yeah.
Dementia's about to get to him.
He's like, the moon, we didn't go to the moon.
Another big issue that I had with, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like that. I think that guy's name was Gil. I mean, he could have just looked at Marilyn Monroe the wrong way. You know what I mean?
Fair. Fair.
JFK was like, "Who the hell is this moon?"
Yeah.
He got rid of him.
He's gonna go to the moon and get some moon. No.
This is the time where espionage is like, like black ops is not in the limelight. So
the other thing is that there's been just too much, like the Apollo 11 like tapes that were recorded over. Like, this is one of the biggest breakthroughs of all time, right? This is a huge thing that human beings traveled to the moon and you accidentally record over the tapes. Like, what? Like, are we serious? This isn't like one of those VCRs that you plug in and it's security footage and it runs for like
reels.
3 days and then it just erases and records over.
Yeah.
No, this is like, oh shit, we landed on the moon. Let me put this in the archives so we don't lose this footage. And that to me is like, well, a little fishy.
yeah,
Like I said, it's
I don't
not
have that.
it's not one smoking gun for me that makes
There's a lot of little things.
It's a lot of little things that like all tie into like.
I think you can. Yeah, but I mean, I think there are a lot of situations that you can. Like, what does it say? Correlation is not causation, right? Like,
Yeah.
Just because these things happen doesn't necessarily mean
This other
that-
thing happened
yeah.
or that.
I mean,
that
look,
caused
like
it.
there's that entire conspiracy of the reason why we didn't go back to the moon is because aliens met us on the moon.
They said, "Don't come back
And it
here.
was
You're
like,
not
"Don't
You're not
come
welcome
back."
here."
Wait.
That's also why we haven't gone to the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on.
Yes. You have not heard this before?
I've never heard this before.
Yeah.
What?
So what if they were like, hey, what if you're thinking they're trying to protect did we land on the moon? The government's like, that's fucking small fries. Like, we don't want you to know about these fucking aliens that we have a pact with. That we
And,
made
like,
we made a secret agreement with on the moon.
And here's another piece of it. It's like another angle to it is
I'm open
that,
to believe that one.
You know,
I'm open to believe that
I'm
one.
open to believe that one. You know why they killed that guy? The aliens, not because we didn't land on the moon, because the aliens.
it just makes me
at this
think
point,
of
it doesn't
that
matter, right? Whether we land on
ancient
the moon or not.
aliens guy.
You were
Or
going to say
ancient
something.
civilizations or whatever. Yeah, no, just that, like, the another thing people are trying to say is, oh, well, the lack of Soviet claims, like, if they had the ability to track us, et cetera, they would have exposed it. But at the same time, maybe they wouldn't, because they know that, like, with all the setbacks they had, at this point, there's no reason for them to continue attempting it because they're just blowing money because we already did it, quote unquote, we already did it. So there's no reason for them to go and do it. And at this point, sure, they'll congratulate us because then it gets them off the hook as well.
Yeah, I mean, very true, right? Like, hey, this is an easy out for us.
They
beat
did it
us.
first. Yeah,
Okay.
congratulations.
Yeah, like, this is an easy out for us. Like, now we're out. Great,
It just, I mean,
because the Soviet Union started falling shortly thereafter. Like, they were out
Yeah.
of freaking money. I mean,
so,
it was what?
I don't know.
20 more years before the Berlin Wall came down, right? So,
Either way, ultimately, this hoax is, or this, conspiracy theory, whatever you want to call it, it's less about science and more about how people interpret evidence, like what people
Right.
believe, what you don't believe, how you think about stuff. And
right.
ultimately, the premise behind all this is just, you got to look at things from your own perspective and, question everything and then
Right.
figure out how you can look into stuff and, evaluate stuff
Yeah.
critically. And not just go along with everything that you see and not just believe everything that someone tells you.
Man, I put a lot of work into like the two things you talked about. What was it?
Did
2
you really?
episodes ago? The like docking and undocking in space.
Dude,
Around the
like,
the
I mean,
moon.
we can go into that. I just
All right,
like,
next piece. So there's no crater. Where's the crater from the impact?
There's
like where's the
what? It's not an impact. It's not like a comet
from
hit
the
moon.
jet whatever.
Yeah, so it moves some dust.
That's it.
There's I mean, have you guys heard about the echoes that are coming from the moon?
I've heard about the sound waves coming. I don't know if it was from the moon, but I heard that.
Wait,
it's
space
very
stuff.
rigid and it's hollow, right? So like the moon is a freaking rock, right? But it's a hollow rock. So like there is a thin layer of dust, right? Like on the moon, but like other than that, it is solid rock. So like you're not gonna make a crater from, and you're only trying to prevent what a tenth of gravity. So it's not like the booster's on that much. So yeah, it blew some freaking dust away, right? But like, I don't know. I mean, show me why. Why should there be a crater? Why should there be a crater? It's not like we're fucking blasting off a starship, right? Like that would probably leave a crater.
Yeah. The lunar module didn't create a visible crater. To your point, solid rock wouldn't do that. What was the docking and undocking thing?
So he was saying like, how did these spaceships or how did these two ships like connect together in space? Like, how are we able to do that? Kind of
like the
thing.
boosters and then like the 2-stage rocket or whatever. So like there was a.
Nah, he was more so talking about the.
No, I'm talking about the overall thing,
like,
right? Like, because
the
I said
moon.
we never created up until SpaceX, we never created a rocket ship that can land and then take off again.
Well, there's a difference.
How did they do it? And then you said that there was this whole breakout model.
Yeah.
And you explained it.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, all right, so the big issue I'm having is whatchamacallit couldn't get it to do this in simulation at all a week before, like they were supposed to go to the moon.
Who?
And now all of a sudden he's able to navigate this and it's a flawless boom, boom, boom.
What? Oh, are you saying the
During the
astronaut was not able to do it during the simulations?
During the
I didn't know that one.
simulations, he wasn't able to create a simulation as success. And now we're on the moon and we have to get home, and all of a sudden now it's a success.
I mean,
sounds like a script.
Are you saying? Well, so the truth of the matter is, we did this docking. Like, you guys have heard of the Gemini missions, right?
Yeah.
So the Gemini missions led up to Apollo. For those viewers who don't know what the Gemini's missions are,
well, you can explain Gemini missions because I don't think.
Yeah. So the Gemini missions were us getting through certain milestones, such that we would be able to go to the moon. Right. One of those milestones being docking and undocking, and what are they called? Inter orbit.
Intergalactic planetary
interceptions. Interceptions, right? Like between objects, right? So if there's two objects in the orbit, how do you get them to come to the same place at the same time so that they can dock, right? And they did this successfully 4 times in the Gemini missions, and they did it a number of other times. Could be like 2, 3, 4 times in some of the early Apollo missions. So it's not like we didn't have the technical capability to actually do it. I don't know if, this guy, maybe he's getting nervous and couldn't freaking do it and was like, I'll be fine when we get there. You know what I mean? And they were like, sure, why not? I mean, what was it, like November 1969? I mean, they had to get it done that decade, right? So they were like, fuck it, let's go. And if he screws up, we still got a human on the moon. We still beat Russia. We just didn't get him back. Yeah. I don't know. But I will say this, there were a lot of risks taken on this mission that we would not take today. So that could just be another one of those.
I mean, I don't necessarily believe that, because I believe anybody that's going into space is being told that you may not be able to make it home.
I mean, I believe that to be true. I think that the appetite for that to happen is very low right now. It's very low. I mean, we're going to build a moon base. That is going to happen. Whether it happens in the next 50 years or the next 500 years, it's going to happen, right? That's going
we haven't
to
been
end up
back.
happening because we're going to want to capture some of these, asteroids, comets, whatever, and there's going to be some really freaking valuable resources on them, and we're going to want to bring them home because we're going to run out of materials, right? We're going to run out of materials. I mean, we're not going to run out of like iron, but like platinum, gold, like high value materials, right?
I don't think we will.
You don't think we will run out of those materials? Oh, okay.
Oh.
Cool.
But continue.
So like that's going to happen. And people are going to die when we make this moon base. Like we're going to have mistakes. People are going to pass, right?
Yeah.
Just like on major construction in our world right now, when we build something, people die. And this is an environment where it is dangerous, right? It is not a safe environment. But these people were painted in such a corner that they decided to send astronauts to the moon in the most active sun cycle over 11 years. Every 11 years, there's a cycle of solar flares.
Mm-hmm.
And at any point, if a solar flare had come out, these guys would have been...
They're dead.
I mean, they might not have been dead immediately, but Buzz Aldrin would not be alive right now, right? Like, he would have massive cancer that would have killed him way long ago.
Well, I mean, forget the cancer. I don't know if that ship is still shipping. I don't know if, like, it might have just changed their course and
it could have.
They would have drifted off. They would have been the first astronauts on Mars. I'll tell you that.
Well,
Interstellar.
I mean,
some interstellar type shit.
I think the good thing is like, they had like backup boards and stuff like that, but a lot of the control, people are like, oh, how do we get the technology? How do we have the technology to do this? They had manual control for most part on these missions. Like they did a lot of stuff manually. Yeah, they had calculations and stuff, and they were like, you need to hit this trajectory, and they had like measurement devices to say whether they hit the trajectory or not. But like a lot was manual control.
Well, the big thing is there hasn't been a lot of technological advancements in like components.
What do you mean?
Like we're still using components today that are being
like
used
the
from
Atlas
back
V
then.
rocket.
What do you mean?
I mean, like the rocket. We still use that rocket.
No, I'm talking about like from electrical standpoint, like electrical circuit boards and things of that nature. Like the components that are going into a lot of, like
what?
What do you mean? What?
My computer that we're recording this video on has
yes.
far exceeded the
like,
capacity, like probably 1 million times faster.
Yes,
I think it was 0.047 millihertz or something like that.
Megahertz,
like
yeah.
the electrical
CPU
components,
yeah,
the things that help make it run, like on a circuit board.
Yeah,
there hasn't been a lot of changes from circuit board creation.
No, there has.
There has.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, we can make
wafer,
transistors the size of
but they're
an atom.
still the same concept. It's not different.
Yeah,
There hasn't been a technological change that changed. Sure, we're making things more efficient and smaller, but it's still the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the fundamentals of electricity are the same.
There hasn't been a breakthrough that allows us to.
We haven't gotten quantum computing yet.
Correct.
But like I feel like that technology has kind of like run its course. But like the shit that they had on their ship was like these transistors were huge. I mean, blobs of.
But it's still the same concept. Like it's not like,
yeah. I mean, the math works the same, right? The equipment works the same.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, sure, from an electrical standpoint, today we would be able to make things, make the components smaller, make it run more efficiently. It would have a lot more power. It would be a lot more runoff electric. All of those things could be true, but that could also play a big factor on how it made it through the Van Allen radiation belt.
Yeah.
Yes, and nowadays
another-
electronics are more sensitive than they were back then too. But the Van Allen,
Radiation
I've been
belt?
like trained a lot on radiation because I was in the nuclear field. And the three things they say about radiation: time, distance, and shielding. Right. So they were all told to go into the command module during the transit, which was aluminum. It's encased in aluminum, which is a pretty decent shield to radiation. But they only spent 6 hours in the Van Allen belt, right? So they just like punched through. Now they didn't go through the middle. It's also a donut shape around the Earth, so they didn't have to go like through the thickest part, you know. So that's they minimized their trajectory so that they were, you know, they did their burn in low Earth orbit, so that way they could get up to, you know, transit speed before they got to the Van Allen belt. So they're just like flying through there. And I mean, if you believe we went to the moon, the dosimeters that they were wearing said that they received like 1.2 or 1.12 rads total, which is like far, like you can't go back to work at a nuclear power plant for that year if you receive more than 50.
Well, in Magic the Gathering, you could have so many rad counters, right?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Let's get this
People
guy
get
out of
upset
here.
about those rad counters.
But
like the electronics, I'm sure that they knew, right, that they were transiting through this area, and they created some sort of shielding around, which isn't hard to do, right? You get a Faraday cage and
Makes sense.
you know, like we know how to do that. So
It's something to think about. I mean, you know, maybe I don't necessarily think that we didn't make it. Maybe it just didn't get documented.
Is the aluminum hat off?
wow,
Still not off.
No.
just because the technology and just because, you know, there's explanations to all that stuff, this doesn't change. You know, it doesn't change some of the the ideas behind the reason why it's all being questioned.
Right. Well,
but it's good to talk about this stuff. It's fun. It's interesting.
It is. I enjoy it. I enjoyed doing some research on some of these topics. I even listened to the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know who he had on. I forgot the guy's name.
Cybele or whatever.
Yeah.
That guy, he's the worst.
Why?
For the conspiracy theorists.
Why?
Because I
Does he
listen
make
to
everyone
him,
look bad?
dude. I listen to him and I'm like, bro, you just don't sound believable.
My big
Like,
issue with
you're
him
just-
is like he kept arguing
He's
with
not
Rogan.
Smart. He's
Rogan,
not like an educated person. I would tear him apart.
Rogan.
If I was debating him, I would tear him apart.
But the thing is, he doesn't want to debate. That's the problem. That
Yeah,
Rogan,
I don't want to debate.
Rogan kept trying to,
Steelman.
steelman the argument, like asking questions to have him open up without like giving his point of view.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, "Why do you have to do that? Why are you doing this?" Like, because like you're just taking a stance that you are correct. This is your view, and everyone has to believe you. Instead of having a conversation, talking about your views and why you believe that, and what led you to believe X, right? Where you are today, to help get other people to see where you are and maybe meet you where you are. It's that he's one of those. It sounds almost like he's the smartest man in the room, so like everyone just has to listen to him. And I that to me was a huge turnoff. Like,
Problem is, he's not freaking smart. Like,
well, I'm just talking about it from a perspective of using that.
and he's like, so he is the foremost, you know, like, or at least the most recognized conspiracy theorist on the moon landings. And I'm like, bro, you got to do better than this. Like, if these are your points and these are your cement. He calls them, these are foolproof cement reasons, and all of them by themselves would prove in a court of law, blah blah blah, that we never went to the moon. And I'm like, bro, you can't defend your point at all. Like, as soon as somebody asks a single question, he just says, no, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, why doesn't it matter?
Yeah. I mean, listen, like,
so
he had interactions
I don't like him.
where like
he says electrical light too, which is stupid.
Electrical light.
It had to be an electrical light. And I'm like, okay.
Just a light.
You can just say a light. Not like sunlight, like a light.
Yeah.
Like makes it a point.
I tried to look at it from a perspective of like why he's like this. And like if that interaction is true where like he was abducted and like drugged and then his blood sample was stolen.
What?
So he had a story where like he had I don't know if I can't remember the exact thing, but like I'm almost certain that he was talking about having a video recording or video evidence of the moon landing being a hoax.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to get to CNN. And all of a sudden, like as he was driving by, he started being followed. And then he was like,
whatever.
He was being chased down.
Oh,
and
yeah.
all of a sudden, like
was.
his car stopped working, and like they were chasing around, like they were chasing him. Finally, grabbed him, and once they grabbed him, they drugged him, and I don't know how he said that he got away, but apparently he got away, and immediately went to somewhere to get drug tested, and the place that he went to for like blood samples was broken into, and the only thing stolen was his blood sample. So like
sounds like he tried to roofie somebody and the bartender was like, whoop.
The little switcheroo.
That's what it sounds like. I'm just saying, like, dude, yo, me believing that is like me believing we didn't go to the moon. Like, what the
No, I have a better chance of believing that we didn't go. No,
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's worse. It's worse.
Listen, like, I'm just saying, if we just take ourselves back and look at that perspective, if we look at that perspective, that this man has went through all of these different things. They threatened his son. They did all of these different things. Like, maybe it gets you to stand on the ledge that he's standing on. Like, I know. You have to believe me. You have to believe me. You have to believe me. But, like, at the end of the day, you also have to look at it like, are you going to get people to believe you by sounding like this?
I think
no, you just sound like a crazy person.
Yeah. I think he just got comfortable going on conspiracy theorist shows, and they already believe him. So,
like-minded
echo chamber.
individuals aren't questioning him.
Yeah, like he never really got challenged like he did on Joe Rogan, and then Joe Rogan had to like lay off him because it was like, all right, well, I don't want this guy to like cancel the interview. There were some points that they talked about that Joe Rogan crushed him on, and Joe Rogan wasn't trying to crush him really. He was trying to like, he gave him softballs. Really, they're all softballs. Everything he asked was softballs, but like he couldn't. This guy's the worst softball player in the world. Like, he struck out every time. And then Joe Rogan was like, okay, we'll move on to the next point.
Yeah.
And it was like...
Sounds like he wasn't prepared.
I think out of all of the conspiracy theories, this is one that I couldn't see the opposite angle, right? Like, I can see us pulling the hoax on not going to the moon.
Yeah. I could see us doing it too. That's why I say I don't believe, like, I don't have a stance on whether there was a backup plan or not. Right? So there could have been a backup plan. And all of those other things could be true. So this guy, Cybel, talks about, and I'm probably running on too long, like this was beat dead, but
yeah, it's good.
but like he talks about like this guard who like killed this other guard that was like, I'm gonna tell,
and
because this
spoke on his deathbed.
And spoke on his deathbed that, and Joe Rogan was like, well, yeah, but did this actually happen? Well, he was a guard at that time, and it's like, okay.
Right,
but
or
like,
is he just like...
Yeah, but anyway, like, or has he lost his freaking mind because he's like at the end of his life? Or that could have actually happened while they were filming the backup plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anything's
the
possible.
guy really thought he needed to get rid of this guy to save the secret. I don't know, man. I don't know. But
Very interesting stuff.
yeah.
All right, well,
Tell us your thoughts.
I don't know if we should hop into the other topic we had or just go into entertainment.
Universe 25. Let's do it.
All right,
I could
Universe
try
25.
to hit it quick. I mean, it's
I
not
don't think we should
crazy.
do it quick. I think we should, if we're gonna do it, we should do
We
it
should
justice.
talk about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Universe 25.
No. I'm saying it doesn't need to be like, it doesn't need to turn into a crazy long thing. But essentially, Universe 25 is about this guy who did some experiments on.
Oh, you brought up Universe 25?
Yeah, he brought it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know it was your topic.
Yeah.
Oh, you have stuff on it?
I mean, I did a little research on it, but like, no. I mean, like, no, go ahead.
No, it's Mo.
No, I mean, I was just like, I was like, oh, it came from you. I thought it came from Anthony. That's why I was like,
No.
Oh,
I mean, I don't care. I mean,
I watched.
I was like, oh,
I had listened to something about it probably a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
On YouTube, I got like 3/4 of the way through, and then I think I might have rewatched it. So then today, when I went on a walk, I rewatched the video again, and it's essentially there's this guy John B. Calhoun. He did some studies on mice populations, rat populations, and essentially factoring for taking away needing anything. So supplying the rats with water, food, shelter, housing. The only thing was the constricted amount of space. So they were confined to a space. And the premise of testing this all was to see what society, like, for lack of a better, like, societal effects, even though it's in a mouse population or a rat population, it's like their society, if you want to call it that, what effects it had on the way they interact when they don't have needs for food, water, any of that stuff. And it kind of builds out a way that the population grows to a certain point, then there are some changes that happen, then it goes away from being built out to that point, and you see the more dominant mice end up taking over, and then the certain other mice end up changing their behaviors because of the fact that they're all confined to a smaller area. The women end up being taken over, like the top dominant mice end up getting all of the women. The women end up neglecting their kids as a result. And society, after a certain point, it builds up and then collapses. Now, to break it down further, I mean, at any point, if you want to jump in, Scottie, you can jump in if I'm not explaining it the best way, or if you have other pieces to add on to it. That was kind of just the quick overview.
Yeah. I mean, I think I didn't hear the part or read the part about the confinement being a problem.
So
because I thought there was like 2,000, like they created something like 2,000 nests or something for kids, or maybe it was like 5,000 nests for the babies, and like they only used like half, or not even half.
So,
well, there were a number of experiments, first of all, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Universe 25 specifically was they built out a habitat for these rats to live in that could house up to like 6,000 mice.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around there, like 50 or 5,000 chains, something like that. But
yeah,
close to that.
I was rounding up. It was like 5,600 or something like that.
Yeah.
But they built like a number of nests capable of actually, of the proper life cycle, right? Of what they expected. But so I didn't hear the part of like there was this fight over territory in a sense that it was too small of a place.
Well,
So the reason
They
why
I think they got to like 2,000 population or something, right?
no, they got more.
2,200.
Yeah, 2,200.
But the confinement of the space, it wasn't so much that there was a lack of space. It's that as the dominant males took over their territory, that space ended up being confined because there was like a central feeding area, and all of the mice kind of like that was the ideal place. So the more dominant mice or rats or whatever took over that space. So everybody was trying to get to the prime real estate location, but there was a limited amount of space in that area. So that was the confinement limit. The other confinement was the fact that this population couldn't grow as much as it wanted to because there was only a certain amount of space. Obviously, as you said, they didn't even get to that point because the society there collapsed before they even got there. But the only the confinement was, that was the only outside factor. There was enough food, there was enough water, there was enough shelter, as you said, but there wasn't enough space. So the population couldn't grow out of control, like unlimited amount of growth. It would only be able to reach the point where if they hit the 5,600, it would become tight in there. They didn't even make it to that point because
Right.
it was an initial 3 month, or roughly, I think he said it's like a 3 month kind of getting used to it, like acclimation phase,
Right.
where it was 4 pregnant females and then 4 male mice or rats or whatever. And that was what started the experiment. And then as they progressed, there was like a couple different cycles they went through of like the initial cycle, then the breeding, then the stabilization, and then the peak, and then the decline. So it wasn't so much that like there was a limit to it. It was just those were the outside factors that were imposed on it.
Right.
They had unlimited food, unlimited water, unlimited food and water. Those are kind of like the main things.
Yeah,
So they didn't need any of that. And then they had plenty of space for up to, we said, like 5,600 mice.
See, I don't know, like the research I did, I didn't see anything about like the dominant mice taking over any of that. Like
That was a big
Really?
what I saw, well, that's weird that I didn't read that because I watched like 3 videos and I read like
It was called it's called behavioral sync, right?
2 or 3 articles on it too. I mean, I did hear about like, people got, they had so much they like people, right? Mice, rats. What are they? Mice or are they rats?
First, so the initial experiments, the ones that failed earlier on, were done with rats, and then he ended up switching to a specific type of mouse. So the last one, Universe 25, was done with mice.
Okay, so the mice. What I had read was that the mice had kind of like they didn't have anything to do. They didn't really need anything to do, and eventually, once they got to the point, like they were just like, yeah, we got everything we need, and they just started fucking off and like doing whatever the hell they wanted to do. Like male mice were fucking male mice, and female mice were fucking female mice, and
No.
they like, yeah, no. I mean,
No, it didn't happen.
this is what I read. This is what I
No,
read.
it happened.
And then like,
No.
even though there were like all these like nesting areas, they just like overcrowded nesting areas, so that like killed off babies and stuff like that. And
That's what I was getting at. The preferred real estate ended up getting too tight.
Yes.
And that's where
Yeah.
all the dominant males were. And then the
So-
females,
But why was
they
that
had
preferred, even though they were exactly the same?
So what happened was they created harems, right? Where
Maybe it's just closer to the.
so like where food was being delivered, where water was being delivered, those areas became densely populated. So I watched the documentary that I watched explains it like you had this space that could fit 3,000 mice. And then the breakdown, and I can go through the breakdown that I had documented, but like when in these areas, like, and this is where they were talking about confinement, right? And the parallel is from mice to humans in urban life, right? And I could break down that in a second, but the issue that they were talking about were in these specific areas, they were only specific areas. So like think of those as the epicenters, right? Where like in these enclosure, only certain areas were densely populated. And you had the alpha males or mice that became more aggressive and became like basically guarding the resources. Even though there was
unlimited resources.
Even though there was unlimited resources, they ended up starting to guard the resources to block people from being able to get it. Then that attracted women, right? So like the female mice was started to like get over there. The beta males, like they stopped producing, and then that's when we have a couple of different ones. The ones that were what were the perfect they were called something. I forget what they were called. The what?
The pretty ones?
Yeah, the pretty ones. The pretty ones, all they would groom themselves and manicure themselves and stay by themselves.
Right.
And then some of the beta males,
beautiful ones.
The beautiful ones, yes. The beta males, like also because they like weren't having intercourse with the females, started idolizing the alpha males, and they started to allow the alpha males to have sex with them, right?
Right.
And that's where the gay males became into factor. So you had these alpha males that were like guarding all of the resources and not allowing any people to get them. You had these female mice that just stopped reproducing for whatever case. So all of these different scenarios are taking place, and the question is why.
Yeah, real quick. Part of the thing is the women mice, it wasn't so much that they just started giving up because they just gave up. What was happening is they were getting inundated, and when they would move from nest to nest, because like if the crowding or whatever, they wouldn't take all of their offspring with them. And then because they had no way to stop the male mice from getting to them, they couldn't continue to raise their baby mice to get to the point where they would actually be able to grow to be part of the population, to actually rebuild their society or continue being able to mate and do everything like that. So they didn't get past the rearing, or is it called? I guess there's a different term, but I can't remember it. Either way, like that initial phase that they have to go through when they're basically feeding them and taking care of them in order for them to get to a point of maturity where they can actually go out and mate and know how to interact inside of their population in a way that would allow them to continue. So that ended up causing the baby mice to die off. And it wasn't so much that the female mice were not doing a good job of taking care of their offspring. It was the fact that they were not able to protect themselves or stop from being able to just have whatever mice wanted to mate with them. And then at a certain point, they ended up having to take on that role of defending their nest and fighting. And in turn, it ended up leading them to become aggressive. And that led to the maternal neglect. And that also led to them exposing their aggression being turned onto their kids or their offspring. And then the baby mice ended up getting, basically aggressive, feeling that aggression from their mothers, which forced them to leave the nest earlier, which they then weren't prepared to be able to reproduce and do everything. So it further led to the collapse. It's crazy because there's parallels to that part doesn't have the most parallels to it, but like the idea that when they had enough resources and they had everything, there was no incentive or no force behind them needing to do anything. Right. So like if everything's provided to you, you have no purpose other than, okay, you eat, you drink, or you eat, you sleep, you drink water, and you reproduce. At that point, it's like, there's no meaning, there's no purpose. Right. And they're drawing parallels to the confinement being in cities, the confinement to urban areas, the fact that everyone is so densely populated. And then I was researching a little bit further into it, and they said that there's a specific guy. hold on, there was a book.
While you're looking at it, like it's the parallels to overcrowding, and when life becomes too easy, social bonds weaken, and then that also then drives down the reproduction rates, right? Like, so when we're looking at urban communities, and especially urban communities now, where there's an overpopulation, and we've had this conversation, at least I've talked about, and I believe both of you sort of feel the same, is that we're living in a society now where it's not like people don't have anything to argue about, or like things are a lot easier now for people than they were in the past. And to a certain extent, I'm not saying everywhere, but like life is a lot easier now in the United States than it's ever been before. And that's creating a lot of these like buckets of people that are like-minded, for whatever that looks like. And it's creating these social bonds from just like this whole big male versus female, or what men should be doing or what women should be doing. Like, I don't know. It's weird. But
well, I mean, I think it also kind of like correlates to the saying, you know, I think we said it last episode, was hard times make hard people make good times make soft people. Right, and then soft people make hard
more
times,
or less. That's
right?
the saying. Yeah, more or less.
I don't know what the saying is, but something like that, right?
That's close enough.
Something
It
like
gets the point
something like
across.
that, right? So like, hey, good times right now, right? And then, you know, soft people and
yeah,
then,
it's hard times lead to strong people create good times lead to weak people, and then weak people create bad times.
right. Or
So
hard times.
that's the cycle that it goes in. Right now we're in a good time. The other piece to Tony's, I mean, the good time has now led us to where shit is starting to go crazy again.
We're not
because-
at peak.
No, it's like
We're at
the
peak.
down.
It's on a
you know,
decline.
the
Could
decline.
come back
thank you.
up
The
though.
No.
I want to like skip the circle. Can we skip?
we need to skip
Skip
this
the
next
cycle.
phase. But the
I mean,
the
I
other
think the good
point,
thing is, I heard you, Muhammad, but I think the good
Yeah, go
thing
ahead.
there though is like there are still hard people here. You know,
Hey, you. Hey,
that will be
you.
able to handle the hard times.
Listen, buddy.
You know,
you keep that to yourself, Mister.
I mean, there's always people that are going through a hard time, even now,
yes,
right?
yes,
So,
yes.
I mean, that's what keeps us going. You know, as a society, I think that's why we've had such a good turnaround over the last, you know, few decades, right?
Yeah. The follow up, or the point I was gonna say, is that to Tony's point with the urban stuff and everything, and the lack of whatever, the people are becoming less connected due to the constant connection of social media, constant connection of, like, I know it kind of contradicted what I said with less connected because of the constant connection, but the idea is like everybody can instantly have whatever they want now. And as a result, it's making more people be less, what's the word? When you're like less incentivized to go out and make effort or do things that they previously would have had to do. And I kind of see certain parallels with like the structure of the Universe 25, where like the dominant males get all of the women, and then the other ones become, as a term that this guy used, like pansexual. So it's not so much that they were, well, homosexual, but the fact that they would mate with whatever regardless. And then there were the other ones. So there were the beautiful ones, which just basically they gave up on society. And those, we call them like the involuntary, well, maybe not involuntary celibates because they just gave up, but kind of incels, right? That have basically given up on mating, given up on doing anything like that. And they're just living their own lives in silent despair by themselves, doing whatever. Some of them, you know, are feeling bad about it. Some of them are not. Some of them have just disconnected from it. And then you get the other people that, in at least the parallel in this guy laughing.
I'm not laughing at you.
the parallel inside of the universe
Somebody at
25
the
with
door.
somebody at the door, which
The,
Yeah.
the girls were trying to break in.
nice. The other piece of that was in the universe 25, in the frame of universe 25, there was a group that were not, they weren't the beautiful ones. They weren't the dominant ones. They were kind of the next level down from the dominant ones, and they weren't quite the gay ones. They were the ones that would still go. Basically, they were the ones that would go around and do whatever they wanted, while avoiding the dominant ones. But they were still going and mating with whoever, and they weren't. They would lead to aggression as a result. So it was very fascinating, just the different levels of it. I mean, worth checking out. Highly recommend, you do your own
Kind of
research.
created a class system there.
Yeah, like they just found their own way into positions, and it's like the hyper dominant males got the majority of this of like the spoils, if you want to call it that, and then the rest kind of fend for themselves, and it just broke down society. And after a certain point, there was no reproduction, and everything just collapsed. And the reason why this popped up the other day is we had previously talked about like reproduction rates as it is now with the United States. Obviously not so much the United States because, there's different demographics here, but other countries across
lots
Italy.
of fucking going on in the United States.
Well,
but
but we all know.
people.
I mean, I know people who are like, I'm not having kids.
I
Like,
mean,
No,
my
and
brother's not going to have kids.
and it could be for various reasons. Like, I don't want to bring a kid into this crazy world. Okay. Or, there's this guy like, there's this guy at work. He's like, I just can't do that. Like, I can't have kids. Like, I won't be able to do that. Like, I love myself too much. And you can call them the pretty ones. They're the beautiful ones, right? Because they spend all of their resources on themselves, them and, maybe a partner, right? And they go on all these vacations, and they're going to do that for the rest of their lives, and they're going to have all this money to spend for the rest of their lives on but not their kids. And, it's kind of like, that's cool and all, but like, I don't know. I'll say, like, for me, like, kids kind of gave me meaning in life. Like, I could keep working and building wealth and, doing all these things, but like, where was I going? What was I doing with this? Just to have fun? Kind of was like,
it's like, what was it all for?
Why is
at that point? It's like, okay,
why? But
God forbid we have fun.
Well, you can still have
I'm
fun,
kidding.
but like, it gets to a point. But like the one other thing, or one of the other things I'll point out about this was the parallels to so there, like, I tried looking up to see how it really lines up with like humans, and there's some stuff saying, certain areas it does, and then certain areas it doesn't. They tried to apply the experiment on like you said, urban demographics and everything, like New York. Well, I don't know if New York City was one of them, but I think, there are certain cities that did them. I think Chicago might've been one, but either way,
Philadelphia.
But there's a lot of people that are drawn to cities, right, for what they offer. And I think nowadays
there's jobs, there's resources.
Sure, but
that's part of the point,
that's
and where I was going with it is like the magnetism of the city, and the reason why the test didn't go well with like cities, for example, is in certain areas or certain aspects, when they thought the people would react the same way as they did from the experiment, they reacted in the exact opposite way. And the closest thing in terms of humans that they could use as an example to test this theory or to test this, experiment was to look at prisons. Because prisons, you have people who cannot control their social space, right? Their communal space. They share it with other inmates. They can't get out. They have food supply provided to them. They have water supply provided to them. The caveat is they can't reproduce. They can't do any of that stuff. So that changes the parameters a little bit. But it led to the understanding that there's there's a social density aspect to it. That it's not so much about the density of people, it's about the density of like the social aspect of it. Being able to get away from people, being able to have your own space, being able to have your own thing leads to better outcomes than being forced to be around everyone. And ultimately it shows that when you're forced in a situation to be around people more than you want to be, or more exposure than you want to have, it leads to a breakdown in society, and it leads to violence and that kind of stuff, which, to Tony's point, parallels with urban environments. You have more violent crimes and more violence in urban areas because people are more densely populated in like social setting aspect in urban areas because of like projects, because of buildings like that. And it just, you know, is interesting to look at the parallels there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the draws between both cases. I think the draws to me that lead in the best similarity would be people that are stuck in projects. Not necessarily urban areas, but people who are stuck.
Yeah, so projects.
People who are stuck in correlation to this scenario. Because like when I look at cities, right, a lot of people that start in these cities, like I look at like everyone that I work with, right, like a lot of the younger crowd, like they've graduated, they all have moved to Philly. They're living in Philly, experiencing life, doing all of the things that city life has to offer. Then I think the majority of them plan to, once they reach that point where they're going to settle down and have kids, like your situation, right? You lived in Philadelphia when you were ready to have kids and think about that part of your life. You guys moved out of the city and into the suburbs to raise your family. And chances could be when you're done raising your family, you may move back to the city, which is common for a
kind
lot
of
of
your aunt.
what?
What you were telling us.
Oh yeah, my aunt, they lived in South Philly. When my first cousin was born, and I think my aunt was pregnant with my second cousin. They started looking to buy out here, and this is when Doylestown was out here. Doylestown was extremely rural. It's very much built up now in comparison to then. But raised the family, and then once the family was raised, moved back to the city because the city offers a way of life. Now, they also aren't stuck, right? So, like, they have a house down the shore. They can go down the shore. They can go. They can travel. So it's not like they're stuck in those situations where they have a feeling where it's closed in. These rats, I know that you could accommodate for a space of 3,000 and there was 2,200 there, but there was no way of escaping.
Right.
You were boxed in and you were stuck. So then that draws, in my mind, the parallels to why there needs to be a dominant force, and that dominant force stands out, right? The alpha males start guarding foods and the women and all of these things because there's limited space, which then can draw lines to limited resource. And those lines can also be talked about in areas of poverty that are densely populated, right?
It creates artificial scarcity.
Yep. And artificial territories, right? Where like you have corner boys, right? Like that are governing certain blocks, and then you go 3 blocks over, that's someone else's territory. Now you're infringing upon someone else's territory. So you create this scarcity mentality where there's more than abundance of space, but you're only focused on this small section. So
yeah, I mean, I think you guys are like making these parallels to like very literal parallels, but you have to like, I don't know, when I think about this as it correlates to the world, I think of it more of like how it relates to our world, right? Like your aunt is an alpha. Not like as an alpha person, but like she's an alpha in the sense that she has hoarded enough resources to buy $1 million house in Center City, Philadelphia, like a condo, $1 million condo in Center City, Philadelphia, right? Like,
It's not $1 million, guys. I'm not rich. We're not
she
rich.
didn't. She didn't fight. You know, she didn't physically fight somebody for it, but she had a fight in her to go and get those resources, right? Like, I might not be an alpha male, but I have more resources than a lot of other people have. Not because I fought them for those resources, but because I fought myself in my life to get to the point where I can obtain these resources, right? Like, so like, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be a parallel like, oh, well, they got violent and we got violent. You know, we think about, okay, we have rules, right? Those mice, they didn't have rules. They were allowed to kill each other, right?
Yeah, but
I can't kill anybody to get more resources. So what do? I work to get those resources, right? And there isn't enough financial resources for everybody to be an alpha, to have the space that they want, right? And we're all fighting for those things. And there's an argument to be made that, you know, people who have all of these resources are villains because they're keeping these resources away from other people.
But I don't necessarily agree with that terminology either. I don't think that there's a limited amount of money. There's not a limited amount of money.
Oh, yeah, there is.
I mean, there's not.
Okay.
I mean, there's money all around. There's ways to get money.
There is ways to get money.
But
if life is good enough, you're not going to go out of your way to go get more.
Well,
right?
It's not necessarily that. I mean, all right, there's a difference in people, right? Because like we could look at 50 Cent, we could look at Jay-Z, we could look at Elon Musk, we could look at
the hyper successful ones.
Yeah, we could look at all of these people where they have more than enough resources where they don't necessarily ever have to do anything ever again.
Right.
Right? But they continue to do because that's what's in them to do, right? People in general, and the reason why I'm drawing this line to like the way I'm drawing it to is because this experiment was supposed to also tie into like it was a big topic that this Ratopia or Micetopia or whatever it was called plays a factor in city life. Right. So like they were trying to draw that comparison. And for me, it's not necessarily city life because again, the difference between that place and city life is that place that the mice were in, they were confined to. There was no way to expand those sections of food and water. Those were tight compartments. No way to innovate, no way to change, no way to expand upon what they had. And that draws in a similar in comparison, not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have to be the city life. It just has to be poverty or the lack of initial resources where you guys are tightly developed in a small section and there's no way of getting out. Or there's the preconceived notion of this is where I am, this is where I'm going to die. Right?
Yeah.
So from my perspective, and I hear you, I'm not saying you're wrong in that frame of thought, because that frame of thought is a lot different than the way I looked at it. But the way I'm looking at it from a perspective of the city life is because that's the way it was supposed to.
Right.
correlate.
I think they did an experiment focusing on is
How
this like city life? Yeah. And you know, I'm not taking away from that, but I think that like you can draw kind of more metaphorical parallels to life and at every level, right? I mean, like even like you talk about, well, like Elon Musk or whatever, they have more than enough that they need, but like when you have some like these alpha mice, they had more than enough than they needed, and everybody else too, and they wanted more and more and more and more. And I think that's just like a primal drive. I'm not trying to villainize anybody, but I think that's just a primal drive in some people. Like certain situations create these type of people who want more. I mean, like I have a drive to want more, right? Like I want more for myself, for my kids, for my family, right? But like some people don't have that drive, and And I mean, now we can talk about the other spectrum, right? Like there are Philadelphia has built these communities of people who like live off of like government subsidies and stuff like that, and they just are okay with that.
Because
and you
in
can
their
call
mind,
those people the beautiful ones. Like they're just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna. I mean, there could be another metaphor for like the beautiful ones. Well, I've got enough. This is enough for me. I'm not focusing on anything else.
That's the only thing that they know,
you know what I mean?
right? And they're getting
and like some
free
of them
money. It's free.
Look, some of
free
them
money.
are in really bad situations, and like I feel for
Yeah.
them, and they want out of that situation. But I mean, the
But-
truth of the matter is, people do take advantage of.
The fact of the
of
matter
free
is,
resources.
there are a lot of people that grew up on government aid. Me being one of them, right? Like
Me too.
we went to the Section
Me
8
three.
office in Philly, and we got food stamps. I got government cheese. Like all of these things existed in my household, right? And
What kind of cheese?
government cheese,
Cheddar?
the block of cheese.
Yeah, nice.
Have you ever seen this government cheese? Look it up. It was a block of cheese.
Like for real?
So yeah, 100%.
I didn't know the government handed out cheese.
Yeah, it was part of. Just type in government
That's
cheese, you'll
wild.
see it.
Oh shit! Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what that is.
So,
I mean, I heard of bread lines, but I thought that was like pre-World War II.
no, this was during my time, but I'm not that old.
Wow.
It's literally
yeah, I know.
a brick of cheese.
Yeah,
Nice.
100%.
And it was probably 0% real cheese.
It was processed cheese.
It's like
So,
Kraft singles. Just not
thanks,
cut out.
government. But like, there are ways to get out of where you are, right? But the problem, and Scottie, you and I have had this conversation before, and I think that this is a deeper conversation that we could have on another pod. But like, I've never understood the mindset. Like, I know what I grew up with. I knew what I was living in. I never wanted to experience that again, and I never wanted to have my daughter have to have that experience, right? So I'm never going to be under the mindset where I understand why people are so complacent. It's a very interesting topic for me that it's something that I would like to do more research on. But like, the only thing I can think of is that we've created. And this is a big thing with Democrats and Republicans, right? Where like they'll say Republicans are for the rich and not for the poor, and the Democrats are for the poor. Well, I can make the argument the Democrats are trying to keep people poor, and the Republicans are trying to change a mindset, right? And the reason why I say that is because I'm I guess leaning towards on the Republican side when it comes to fiscally talked about topics. I'm more socially liberal, right? But when
you're a righty.
yeah, right.
You're a
we,
right wing radicalist.
white
Ring
White
right radicalist.
radicalist.
When we
Great,
look
this
at, when
this
we
video is
look at
going nowhere.
that old adage, right? You could teach somebody how to fish and they can eat for the rest of their lives, or you can give someone a fish and they could eat
That's
tonight.
the Republican way.
Right? But like when we look at people who like we touched on this before, like welfare was designed in the Great Recession, and that was meant to get people out of where they were. It wasn't to create generational welfare. And where we are today is we have generations. I'm not talking about black. I'm not talking about white. I'm not talking about like there are vast majority of people that have been living in generational welfare and haven't changed. Doesn't matter the race, doesn't matter your skin color. I don't care what you are. You people have been living in generational welfare. And that's not the answer, right? And listen, I'm talking about from the standpoint of people that are able to work, can work. We're not talking about the people who have disabilities or mentally ill. Any of those people, those people should be taken care of, right? I'm not talking about those people. We're talking about able-bodied citizens. Those people should be given ways to figure it out and not be generational welfare. Good.
Right.
You were going to say something smart. I saw the lip quiver. Yeah. Go Good.
Nah, I thought about it.
I'll
Shouldn't
say
it.
if we have a conversation about, I had a really good conversation with Farah and her dad, and
Oh boy.
Magda's dad yesterday at the picnic about
Yeah, we didn't get invited
how
over.
how
I
the
didn't
different
even know that you guys were having a cigar until
how different cultures are growing up and all that, are like getting along and stuff like that. So if we do have that conversation, we have to have Farah on.
Oh,
We're calling her out. We're calling her out.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
see. We'll see about that.
All right.
yeah, this was a good episode, boys.
It was.
Thanks so much
It
for
was.
joining.
UFC,
on our-
real quick.
Huh? Nah,
UFC?
we don't have time.
No?
I'll just make mention that we will be talking about UFC next week, because we'll have to give our predictions for UFC 320 that's taking place October 4th. UFC fans, I know we haven't really touched on it for a couple weeks, but like,
Is Oliveira fighting this Friday?
No.
Oh, okay.
October.
Oliveira.
We have another fight is this weekend, or maybe not. I don't think there is a fight this weekend.
Okay.
We'll do a quick UFC search, but I honestly think the next fight is UFC 320, which is October 4th, and October is going to be a star-studded event filled month with a lot of bangers. So we have a lot to talk about
Awesome.
in the month of October when it comes to mixed martial arts and UFC.
Yo, Pereira and Magomed
Yeah, Magomedov.
Ankalaev.
2.
No, Magomed Ankalaev.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought his name is Magomedov.
Nah,
Magomedov,
Magomed.
like he's a Trump supporter, but also from
Magomed.
from Georgia or something. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. Like, subscribe,
Follow.
follow.
Like,
Tell
subscribe,
us-
follow. Join
Yeah,
us for the
and
next
tell us
episode.
that we're idiots.
Yeah. All right. See ya.
Cheers.
See ya.